Tesla's led the way in cutting prices in order to unlock new demand, while other automakers have reduced their production and cut staffing to boost profits.
This company continues to present concerns for investors. So I'll just say a little bit about where we are with this current concern as far as drug use.
It's really hard to get institutions to invest billions of dollars in a company when the CEO sort of admits to be doing psychedelics.
Yeah, Tesla's been weak, and Tesla looks like it's ready to fall off a ledge at 185.
All that and more, so let's get to it. Surprise, surprise. Tesla stock is down in the pre-market a little over 2%, sitting at 176.85. We are getting very close to that territory where I will be placing a long call for Tesla in 2026. Year to date, Tesla is down almost a whopping 30%. This is after a record-breaking Q4, and a little of this might be the lack of guidance heading into 2024. Elon Musk and the gang noted considerably lower growth than of 2023, but growth is still growth. More and more analysts have shifted from their buy rating to a hold rating, and even some of those that were holding have now switched to a sell rating. The negative sentiment is palpable.
Despite all the hype, demand for EVs is slowing down. In 2022, EV sales grew 62%, but last year, 2023, just 31%. So there are still global sales in EVs, it's just growth is slowing.
I mean, when you start from nothing, then you add something, the growth is at 100%, and over time, as you produce more of it, the growth will stymie and slow. Are we expecting 100% growth every year? I mean, I guess it's possible if every car market was as mature as the Chinese market, or had several companies with the mission statement of Tesla and had the fortitude and ingenuity to execute said mission.
China's by far the biggest market, accounting for around 60% of plug-in sales, excluding commercial vehicles. As China's economy continues to struggle, several automakers have signaled that it's not going to continue to be the source of growth for the industry. But an even bigger issue is weakening demand in the EU and the United States. The automakers are confronted with more cost-conscious consumers. On average, all EVs in Europe are 30% pricier and 27% pricier in the US than diesel or petrol alternatives. And others are just sitting on the sidelines and waiting to see what happens with the technology.
That's exactly what I'm doing in the gym. I'm kind of waiting to see where the workout technology is before I actually go get my six-pack. Oh, wait, that's not how it works. I probably should be doing some crunches right now, conditioning my muscles so that the transformation is not as tough as it should be. Nah, I'm just gonna wait. I got a real good feeling that there's gonna be a technological breakthrough that's going to make this much, much easier for me.
Tesla's led the way in cutting prices in order to unlock new demand, while other automakers have reduced their production and cut staffing to boost profits. Now there's a race across all manufacturers to bring many more models to market.
BYD, Li Auto, I think they're finding out that their cars are selling in China, and that's well and good considering China is the most mature plug-in market. I mean, it makes sense because the EVs there are very much in price parity with internal combustion engines. EU, US, not so much. In those markets, if your name is not Tesla, you haven't figured out how to make battery electric vehicles cheaper than you would an internal combustion engine. More companies not named Tesla that figure out how to do that, that's when you'll see the massive growth. Or you could just wait until Tesla has about 6 or 7 factories. Without a shadow of a doubt, they'll do most of the heavy lifting. I mean, they're producing the Model Y so fast, it's making everybody else's head spin. Imagine when they start pushing out the next-gen vehicle in these factories at twice that speed, for essentially half the cost. Now, I firmly believe that Tesla is going to be a multi-trillion-dollar company in the future. But there is no denying that the stock is down for the year of 2024 at the moment. Some of the reason is because of the lack of guidance, some of the reason is because of the technicals, but I would say the primary reason is these negative headlines in the news media. Whether it's the competition is coming, false flag recalls, Elon Musk compensation package, Elon Musk being unfit because of drug use. What? There's more news about his drug use? Roll the clip.
Out of shares of Tesla, which are under a lot of pressure, not only to start the week, but have been for the year. Of course, 2024, not a great year so far for Tesla investors, though had a massive run last year. The Wall Street Journal out with an exclusive article over the weekend titled "The Money and Drugs That Tie Elon Musk to Some Tesla Directors." This follows a story earlier this year about concerns over Musk's apparent illegal drug use. Let's dig deeper into this and talk about why Tesla's board is not doing anything about it.
I mean, at this point, it's getting rather ridiculous. Let's be real here. The man has made reusable rockets a thing. He brought sexy back when it comes to electric vehicles. Doing human trials for Neuralink, making the impossible possible. But it's his alleged drug use you want to focus on?
Like, there's reports about what Musk may or may not be doing, but I want to make it very clear that he has said he has passed all drug tests. And of course, talking about cannabis, cannabis is legal in so many states anyway. So what do we know, and how do you come at it as a shareholder?
This company continues to present concerns for investors. So I'll just say a little bit about where we are with this current concern as far as drug use. And one is just really coming to the job of the board. What is the board as far as ensuring that the CEO is able to do and perform its job duties? In the case of Tesla, there's actually a very clear drug-free workplace. Their code of conduct actually prohibits all employees, including executives, from using drugs, even outside the workplace. And so we're looking to see whether the board is actually doing its job, both looking at reputational risk as well as financial risk to Tesla.
Speaking from this investor's point of view, I'm not concerned at all. If you are concerned, please don't invest. I find it odd that the man built all of these companies from nothing, fueled by the wealth of his combined ambition and genius. Go ahead and put a label on SpaceX and Tesla as impossible, Neuralink as a pipe dream. But once these companies come up out of the mud, not only stable and profitable, but flourishing, all of a sudden, yo, Elon, you're doing it wrong. I mean, the audacity of some people.
Ross, first off, who do you think the Journal, they're not going to publish something unless they got good sources, even if they don't name them. Who's leaking all this stuff lately?
Well, there's 80,000 people at Burning Man, so it doesn't take too much to see Elon there partying with everybody. You know, it's kind of like common knowledge. So there's plenty of people that have partied with Elon, so I don't think it's hard to find anybody, you know?
Yeah, but I will say the Google founders, I think, you know, they went to Burning Man. There's been many tech CEOs that have gone to that. Do these reports trouble you as much as they apparently trouble some other people?
There's actually a technology section of Burning Man, you know, if you want to be more specific. And, you know, I'm kind of from the deadhead scene, so I kind of know who does things and doesn't, but...
What does that have to do with anything? If Ross says it, it must be true. No. I don't need any hard evidence or facts. Obviously, Elon Musk is compromised. Let's get him out of there. Oh, wait. We're not going to jettison the key reason why Tesla has the competitive advantage over everyone in the automobile industry. He still has more work to do? Yeah. I think we'll keep him around.
That said, it doesn't really trouble me per se as much as it would trouble other institutional shareholders, you know, being a deadhead. But that said, I think it's all about optics, and people want to have confidence in a board of directors in a company. And, you know, hearing about people partying, it was bad enough the time he smoked weed with Joe Rogan was like considered a you know, kind of a big scandal at the time. And we're talking just a hit of a legal drug. So, you know, it's really hard to get institutions to invest billions of dollars in a company when the CEO sort of admits to be doing psychedelics.
Yeah, the world would be a much better place if everyone did a little bit of psychedelics. But I would say it's almost a requirement for an individual like Elon Musk to have his ego cut in half every now and then. Now, can I trust Elon Musk to handle his drugs? Not only is he a grown man, but he happens to be a man that has revitalized the space race, transitioned the entire automobile industry to move toward battery electric vehicles. I mean, what more can I say besides, Elon, you're doing it wrong.
Drug test for these NASA contracts for SpaceX, and he's passed every single one of them. I mean, we have reports of unnamed people, and I saw him maybe doing this with that person, possibly but we also have passed drug tests, which is like, that's, you know, at least.
No. The drug tests do not test for ketamine or psychedelics. Drug tests typically test for cocaine and heroin and cannabis and things like that. So psychedelics, you know, those of us who are deadheads know, you know.
But do we care about those?
They don't test for it.
I mean,
they don't test for those drugs.
I mean, ketamine is illegal in certain uses, but it's also prescribed in certain ways.
It's a new thing to be prescribing ketamine and psychedelics to deal with mental and emotional issues. And if that's the case, that Elon has mental and emotional issues that he's been prescribed psychedelics for, that would be another thing that investors want to assess, you know, is the fitness mentally that he has to be CEO. If that's in fact the case, that he's being treated for mental issues. So, you know, quite frankly, this is all just a big distraction from the fact that Tesla needs to execute and sell Cybertrucks and get full self-driving to work. You know, I just put a list of 10 things Tesla needs to do to get their stock going back again, and all of them are execution issues. And so this is, you know, once again, I'm not that concerned about Elon's personal time and whatever. What I'm concerned about is he's not at Tesla building trucks.
If you're concerned, don't invest. Please, just don't invest. Don't worry. They will build Cybertrucks. They will solve full self-driving. They will produce the next generation of vehicles. But you want more, don't you? You want more.
The board need to be rebuilt. It's only got 8 people on it. 2 are named Musk. It's got his buddy Joe Gebbia, who founded Airbnb. Got James Murdoch of the Murdoch, you know, News Corp fortune. Do we need to remove some of them, add new people? How? What?
Well, this is the trickiest part for Tesla, because essentially anything the board does, compensation or major decisions, can be challenged now by investors because, you know, Delaware said the board isn't independent. And so it would be false and misleading to imply that they are. So they really need to get rid of 3 or 4 board members and replace them with truly independent board members that have no financial ties to Elon. And the problem with that is that Elon isn't going to want to deal with those people. And I learned this when I ran for the board a year ago.
There it is.
There's no desire from anybody at Tesla or within Elon's circle to have an independent board. Elon controls the company 100%, even though he only owns 13% of the company. But it's going to be very hard for the company to move forward with the current board. And this is, I think, one of the reasons the stock is selling off, is because changes have to be made if there's going to be legally binding things happen. But Elon certainly isn't going to like those changes. So how does this all work itself out? And I think that's the challenge Tesla investors are facing.
Well, as a shareholder, I guess I'm supposed to vote on board members, who gets in and for how long. If I have a problem with the current board, I guess I could just not be a shareholder. Like I said before, most of why the stock price is down is because of irrelevant nonsense being pushed through the financial news media that has nothing to do with Tesla's execution. And if people want to sell their shares, by all means, please do so. I have no problem scooping those shares up or trading options around this crazy volatility.
Traders looking to get into the most active stock options, they may face some of the biggest names driving the markets. And today we're going to walk through how to tackle these popular trades. And let me go to the Wi-Fi Interactive here so everybody can get on the same page. I was talking about some of the most popular options, and this is a snapshot a couple days ago. The 7 most popular, and guess what? There's a lot of overlap with the Mag 7 here. Tesla, that's number 1. AMD, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet, Amazon. What do you think of this list here? How does it reflect what you're seeing in the options market and what's going on right now?
Look at that put volume for Tesla. It is higher than NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, Google, and Amazon. Just the level of puts in the stock market.
So I love your list. I think this is a great starting point for options traders, and these are the top stocks that I trade every single week. The reason why they're great is because they have a lot of liquidity, which means you can get in and out of options positions. They have a weekly options expiration series, so that means that you can take advantage of trades on a weekly basis, and specifically, you can take advantage of premium decay as it goes into the end of the week. And these are also the stocks that tend to be the most volatile in the stock market. So when you're trading options, you need to have some movement and that's where it is.
It's the main reason why I dabble in the options market for Tesla. So much opportunity when you're talking about price movement. Unfortunately, you're going to be paying a hefty premium for that movement. Question is, will the juice be worth the squeeze?
First, I want to bring the viewers up to speed with a definition. I know you like butterfly option spreads, and that's what we're looking at on the Wi-Fi Interactive here. And a couple of highlights. They combine both bull and bear spreads. You have basically two different spreads in each option. It's like a vertical spread, two of those. They have fixed risk and fixed maximum potential profit, so that's capped. Spreads use four options with three strike prices, and then there is an upper and lower strike price, which are equally distant from the middle at the money strike price. And a lot of words there. I think we're going to launch into an example, and here's your Microsoft example. This is a bullish call butterfly spread where you buy the 410, sell the two 420s, and buy one 430 call. That's a lot of numbers. Can you break them down for us?
I'm an all or nothing kind of guy. If you're trying to trade big names like Nvidia, Tesla, what these butterfly spreads allow you to do is to get a piece of that pie, but you're not going to be able to maximize it, but your price to play is going to be much, much cheaper.
Yes, definitely. So when you look at Microsoft, first of all, I love trading Microsoft. Microsoft just had earnings and it typically rallies after earnings. So with this trade, I'm looking at the stock and saying, you know what? I think Microsoft is going to trade up into $420 a share, most likely next week. So how can I trade this? The reason why I like butterflies is because they're incredibly cheap, especially compared to a long call. With this strategy, I can get in for $224 a contract. That was my entry price on this. Whereas if I was purchasing a long call, I'd probably have to pay $800, $1,000, $1,200 a contract, just depending on which strike you choose. So it's a really cheap way to get involved. And then the other reason why I like this is because of the risk to reward. So generally, if I'm spending $220, $240, the max profit is generally about 1 to 3, depending on where you get in. And so, if you're risking $250, your max profit's maybe around $750. And so with this kind of strategy, if you're good at technical analysis, you're really able to utilize your capital.
No one is good at technical analysis, but that's just my experience.
You're really able to utilize your capital. So you're looking at a range-bound trade. You're saying, I think Microsoft is going to be between 410 and 420, ideally as close to 420 as possible, but I'll take it if it's 415.
I wanted to give another example here. This is your trade in Tesla. This has a bearish bias. And if we can go to the Wi-Fi Interactive, I have it pulled up here. You're buying the 185 put, you're selling two 175s, and you're buying 165, the 165 put. Just break down your thinking here, please.
I would definitely not be doing bearish put butterfly spreads on Tesla simply because of the limited profit that you could get. If Tesla falls to 135, the most you could possibly make from the trade is around $700. For me, the juice just isn't worth the squeeze.
With Tesla's been weak, and Tesla looks like it's ready to fall off a ledge at 185. So the way that I like to trade this is, again, setting up a butterfly. In this case, it's a bearish fly. What I generally do is I buy the long option just at the money or slightly out of the money, which is how I get into the strategy for such a cheap price. So I was looking at this one right before I came on. It was going for maybe $1.74 per contract. So for less than $200 a contract, you can get in short Tesla. If you bought just a put, it's going to cost you $800, $1,000, obviously, depending on which one you buy. So for this trade, looking at, minimum around $200 investment, and you can get about a 1 to 4 reward, if that trades into your zone. And as I was saying, I don't need it to go exactly to the target, but I do place the center strike of the butterfly at my price target. So just looking for it to fall about $12. That's why I put the center strike of my fly at about 175. And it's a cheap, low risk, high reward way to trade Tesla to the downside in case it rolls over.
Love that risk reward here with the butterfly trades. And you can even see the butterfly in those charts that were, if you squint a little bit. But before we go, I got to ask you one question I'm asking all of our options guests this week. What's your number one piece of advice for new options traders?
So for new options traders, you have to start out small. You know, when I started, I was trading a $5,000 account, and that was the reason why I got into trading butterflies to begin with. I could not afford, buying long calls on some of these really expensive names. So I would encourage traders to learn how to trade spreads. I know that it's challenging, and a lot of people say, oh, it's so over my head. But the reason why it's great, especially if you're learning, is because they're just so much more flexible. They're not going to move as much as a long call or a long put will, because you can trade in a range-bound manner. And you're also going to be able to risk a lot less money, which when you're starting out is very important, because you want to hold on to your powder so that you can keep trading and live to trade another day.
Exactly. Hold on to your powder. Most importantly, live to trade another day.
I'm just not a fan of butterfly spreads. It is a nice measured way in order to grow your portfolio as long as you're trading with the market. So many ways to make money in the stock market. This one's just not for me though. In conclusion, EV sales are slowing down. The main reason is this isn't as easy as Tesla makes it look. But Tesla has its own problems. Apparently, Elon Musk's drug use and relationship with the board is a warning for institutional investors. Now that Elon and the gang have done the impossible and made these companies profitable, you got everybody and their mother telling them how they're doing it wrong. I suppose doing things fundamentally different is the secret to disrupting the industries that you're in. I mean, 50 said go ahead and switch the style up. And if they hate, then let them hate. And watch the money pile up. That's all I've got for you today. Be easy. Peace.